Anyway, so Moresco is now reducing his stress levels through meditation. So I think, if they're left in town generally, they might reduce stress levels a tiny bit. I might be wrong on that one. But if you stick them in an actual stress relieving place, then you will find their stress levels go down quite dramatically. Now, I would be a fella down, so I think it's safe to say it's usually quite good having a couple of Jesus, Boilervescu, because I get the impression the S is probably supposed to be silent there. So let's change your colour as a primary decision. So we've got 4. I do quite like the red one, so we'll have her in red. It's primarily because, as much as yes, they all have different names, and if I made my own custom names, it would probably make it even easier. But I don't tend to pay attention to their names. I know, you terrible bastard. Why would you just not pay attention to their names? Because I'm a terrible human being. I don't pay attention to people's names. I pay attention to their faces. And that is where I define who the characters are. I tend to do it via just looking at their faces. So, Boilervescu has a blight resistance. That's always quite good. And fated, you can turn a miss into a hit. Now that's quite nice. But slow reflex is -1 to the speed. What do we have here? So the Mace Bash, that's unfortunate because that requires you to be in the front 2 slots, and I must admit I don't think I would ever put a Vestal in the front 2 slots. Then Judgment's alright, especially because that looks to be, I can't see a specific damage value off of them, so I'm assuming that's, oh there you go, so it's going to trigger off the base stat of 4 to 8 damage minus 25%, but it does heal her. That's quite a nice one. The Divine Grace, that's good. Illumination, so unfortunately with this one she would actually be best served, as you can see. I suppose you may have spotted it and understood it yourself. I will explain it for those who didn't spot it and or didn't understand it. Here it does give you a preferred position and preferred target rating. So her preferred position, unfortunately, is very much that 3rd place, because you've got a 3rd place ability, 3rd place ability, 3rd place ability. And as you can see, it sort of lessens. You can see that here as well. Here, Gulafre is very much comfortable in those 3 positions, not so much in the front one. I suppose primarily because you've got, that's 1, 2, 3, that's 1, 2, this is from the back. So 1, 2, 3 from the back, 1, 2 from the back, 1, 2, 3 from the back. And then that one, I suppose, it slots in at the 3rd from the back slot, even though it's 1, 2 from the front. So she's comfortable there. In fact, she's probably most comfortable there, primarily because then you can use all of the abilities. Yes? Apart from Divine Grace. So, in order to heal, you definitely need to be in the back positions. Anyway, let us bring forth the Grave Robber into our team. Boyett, possibly. Boyett. The T may be silent. Boyett, if the S is silent. Hatchet. Now, see, this guy I like, because he's just called Hatchet. Although, having said that, I think Hatchet traditionally, if we're talking about an actual Axie Hatchet, I think that's got a T between the C and the H. So it might be wrong. Anyway, so here we've got a fellow who's comfortable in the 2nd position, primarily because collect bounty, mark for death. So now, see, that's interesting, because now he gets advantages for marking them for death. As you can see there, plus 90% damage versus the marked. Anything else to do with marked? No, we'll deal with those 2 abilities in a moment. But he will sync nicely with Dismas, because, of course, he can mark them, and then Dismas can use his ability, his pistol shot, and possibly even... No, just his pistol shot, he can take advantage of the marked target. So you don't... I think he can mark things as well, can't he? Can he mark things? Oh. I could have sworn he had an ability to mark things himself, but apparently he does not. So the only way you can get a pistol shot with the extra marked damage is to bring in a second character such as Hatchet. We didn't actually look through his quirks. He's got hard noggin, quick reflexes, and natural swing we saw turn up. Known cheat. He is not allowed to gamble while in town. Now, obviously, he's got that as his base form, but you can pick that up if you send them to gamble. Or you can pick up the other one, which I think is he can only be done... oh, and here's an example of the only option. In town, he will only flagellate himself for stress relief. I think I'm saying that correctly. It's where you whip yourself, I believe. In fact, there is a full-blown character known as the Flagellant, who I think has that quirk naturally. I don't think you can do anything about that quirk, but I might be mistaken. But yeah, they usually have like a cat o' nine tails, and they, you know, over the shoulder, whip their back. I'm sure there's other ways to whip yourself, but I think that's the traditional one you see elsewhere. Let's have a look at Reynold. So, Warrior of Light. He has extra damage if the torch is above 75. So, bring a lot of torches, because light is success. Disease resist, we saw. God-fearing. So again, he will only pray. Kleptomaniac. Oh, that's interesting. So I'm surprised that didn't trigger, because there was a lot of times where I was opening things, and I can't fully remember if that's the one where he just insists on opening something at random, whether you wanted to or not, or if that is literally straight up he takes something from the pool of items you get from treasure. But anyway, let's have a closer look at Hatchet. So he's got uppercut as well, and he's got a flashbang. So it looks like we're missing Morisco, who was quite good in the third slot. Now this guy's not perfect in the third slot, but it looks like he can do all bar his uppercut in the third slot, it seems. So he might be quite good for the third slot replacement of Morisco. So we've got the quirks of Boyett, irrepressible and deadly. A weak grip on life, so minus 10% of the death blow resist. So when she's down to low health, I think that means she's more likely to die. Which is never a great thing in this game. A pick to the face is not what you want. Then lunge. Then flashing daggers is always quite a nice one. Shadow fade. You do have to be at the front for that. So she's not bad for the third place. She's not bad. I'm assuming it's a she. Do we have any proof of that fact? I don't know. I feel like the lips and long hair make me think female. I might be wrong though. I might be wrong. But I think each character does have their own specific gender. There's not two genders for each style of class. For each class. Anyway, let's get on with more doings, I think. Right, here we go. This is the information I wanted earlier. Increases the number of recruits available for hire, hence why you saw me with 3 there. That is not necessarily the one I would have upgraded first had I remembered / been able to see the information. No, I will not let that lie, game. Hero Barracks is always quite a good one to upgrade fairly swiftly, because the more characters you've got, the more options you've got for building parties. Higher level recruits. I think you only get that. Yeah, I think you're only allowed that once you start getting further into the game. It's a nice way of sort of balancing the idea of having to level up characters, because as you can see here, the characters who have been in a dungeon are level 1, the characters who I've just picked up are level 0. Now at the moment I don't 100% think that makes a huge amount of difference to anything I'm doing, but I'm going to upgrade my hero barracks.
Great heroes can be found even here, in the mud and rain.
In the mud and rain. I'm sorry if it gets boring, me constantly going on and on and on about this guy, but, you know, I like him. I like him a lot. Is that mid treasures? Yes, it is. Okay. So, I don't really want the -1 speed there. But the grave robber, interestingly enough. Hang on. Can we? Yes, we can. +2 speed. She might as well hold that bag. I could, I suppose. Oh, except she. Oh, that's +15% debuff skill chance. So that's only useful if you've actually got. Oh, you do actually have a debuff there. Now see, here you'd want perhaps a plague doctor and the grave robber together. So what the party I'm thinking I'm going to do is I think we'll stick Hatchet in the 3rd slot, because then the bounty hunter and the bounty hunter and the highwayman can engage together in some fashion, which will be quite nice. So I think that's the one I have done, question mark, or is it a brand new one? Is there an obvious way of telling whether you've done one in the past? I don't think so. Yeah, so that's short apprentice 1. I mean, it certainly looks the same as the one I did, but then again, maybe it's not, because that's the same idea again anyway. So maybe we're looking at doing anything. They can be killed. They can be beaten. So let's not do a medium map just yet. I think we'll stick to a short one. The dice. I don't have a jester at the moment, so the dice don't necessarily appeal that much. Snake oil appears to be a common item. The agility talon is for a bounty hunter. Now I do have a bounty hunter, so I tell you what, let's do this scout mission and see what happens. So first things first, I'm going to go 10 torches. Second things second, I'm going to go a couple of shovels. I'm going to go 1 skeleton key, and then I'm going to go 12 provisions. I'm not going to bother bringing in the blood because that's not of any importance at the moment. That is a new-ish, and quite some time ago, actually. I think it was introduced, but there's a certain thing that may occur. That I think is going to reduce stress. Being a short map, I don't think that's going to be necessary. As is again so often the way with these sort of things, it's a balancing act. The more stuff I bring with me, the less slots I have for picking up treasure. But I think he does actually have, when you fill your bag, there is one of those sort of narrator comments which is to do with weighing yourself down with gold can be deadly. I'd like to clarify, that's not a quote. I think you'll find the game, as I've specified so many times, and my love of this game's narration and dialogue choices, it's vastly superior to a man weighed down with gold is very much dead. It's a lot better than that. But as I say, I'm fairly confident if you do fill everything with gold and treasure, he does give you a bit of a warning that, you know, are you sure you want that much treasure? We might be able to rescue a torch. Yes, you salvaged an unburnt torch. So our torch supplies are quite hefty. Oh, I'll tell you what, we can have a 4-way. Dance off! I think I'm actually wasting torch, so maybe not. I don't want to be wasting torch here when I'm battling gribbly assholes. Wow! You all dodged. You bastards. Okay, what we'll do... You, sir, are marked for death.
Mortality clarified in a single strike.
Oh, shitting hell. He is not doing well, so I think our Vestal Virgin very much needs to heal him. And probably several more times as well. I will smite you, sir. So, from some hero attacks, so it's not a generic every hero attack will do extra damage. It is specific ones. Now, okay. So this, you're not unholy, so this is not going to kill either one of them. But next round, oh, I'll tell you what, I've got a better idea. I'm going to stun that guy because then I can skip his turn, or not, because reasons best known to the game and not to me. Right, we're gonna cock. This is where you need to pay attention. This is where the Darkest Dungeon gets you. When you lose focus for just 1 second and the Darkest Dungeon creeps up behind you and sticks its dick in your... Oh, let's use Grape Shot. But yes, I didn't mark the correct target. I should have marked the second target. That would have made things easier for me. Right, flashbang. Let's not worry about it. I think we're going to have to collect bounty on the marked target.
Annihilated.
So it's quite nice that he managed to do it in one shot. Not so nice that he managed to shoot all of my people. 9 or 24, 12 or 24. I think it's Physician. Heal thyself, my dear. You need it more than anyone else at this exact moment in time. Okay. Right, let me read this. Stun. 100% base. So... I don't know... Ah, so he has got a 25% resist to stun. That might be why he resisted it. It might be better, though, at 5 HP... being that my damage is 6 to 12, I think I can just kill him.
As the fiend falls.
I'm assuming there was a modifier attached to that somewhere along the line, because that was not 6 to 12 damage, that was 5 damage. But I don't fully know. I didn't read it all in its entirety, so one hopes that's the reasoning. I should have bought bandages. 2 rounds left. 4 rounds left. Ah, dude. Why'd you have to be bleeding all over the place, you bleeding nuisance?